Hello, I'm John Kerr, and you are watching the Cloud Therapist channel.
Hello and welcome to the Cloud Therapist Shorts. I'm Richard Simon. Demos, demos, demos. We need to get them right. We need to do them properly. So if you're anywhere near doing any demos for your customers, this is the top 5 tips for you. My guest is none other than John Kerr at Mastering Technical Sales. John Kerr is the managing director at MTS, and he's literally the man who wrote the book on sales engineering, also known as systems engineering sometimes, or pre-sales as well. There's a book, he's pointing to it already. So John's book is called Mastering Technical Sales. The 4th edition came out earlier this year, so do check that out, and it'll provide some links to that in the description of the video as well. So yes, let's say hello to John. How are you, John?
I'm doing great. It's actually a freezing cold day here in Philadelphia. It's -5 centigrade or whatever that is, 24, 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So hence the long sleeves and everything else.
Excellent.
A
We're
little
always,
nippy.
we're
Yeah.
always having good fun with the weather, you and I. So this
Yeah.
time you're not able to tease me as you usually do
No.
from your Florida location. Excellent. So John, you have a top 5 for us for doing successful demos. Let's dive straight into the first one.
Sure. Well, actually, let's do a little intro before we do that. So
Mhm.
there's a ton of podcasts and articles and everything written about demo tips. So
Definitely.
thinking about this yesterday, I thought, let's do something a little different. So we're going to avoid the platitudes you tend to hear, right? Be prepared, know your audience, or even the slightly more functional things like, be an Uber driver, not a tour guide, or do the last thing first. And
Yeah,
we're going to talk about actually 3 tips that are going to help you design better demos.
brilliant.
And deliver them as well. One that's about delivery and a slightly more philosophical one to end. So let's kind of
Oh,
dive right in.
indeed.
So the first thing is actually have a visual map of what your demo is going to look like.
Right.
If you think about it, somewhere like 85% of us are visual learners.
Yeah.
Yet when we go into a demo, we tend to tell people what we're going to demo them, but we don't actually show them. So we have this
Right.
concept called a demo GPS roadmap, and we're going to share that with your listeners.
Hmm.
And what it does is it's literally, and I'll use a little visual aid here, right?
Yeah.
But you'll get a better version.
Yeah.
So your customers can actually have a visual in front of them and follow along what you're going to be doing in the demo.
Right.
And we've discovered that if you have that, it cuts out like 95% of the times that you have to like re-demo, represent. Someone says, hey, can you show me X? And you say, well, no, that's coming in part 4. Right?
Right.
So it's an amazing way to really keep your customers attached and engaged to the demo, doubly so in the virtual environment like we're operating in now when
Hmm.
you're going over Zoom or Meet. So that's tip number 1, which
Excellent.
is have a visual of your demo. And again, there's a visual aid for your listeners to look at that.
Yeah.
Tip number 2 is chunk your demo. Now, chunk is one of my favorite non-technical terms, right? It's a unit of measurement. And it's really, as you design your demo, put it into small chunks. So the average attention span where someone can really pay attention to you, assuming you're doing it right, we'll say charitably is 12 minutes. Right? So
Right.
if you are droning on about anything in a sales situation for more than 12 minutes, your customers are going to fall into what we call the trough of despair, and you've got about 40% attention from them. So that's
Right.
useless. So if you chunk your demos up, so if you think about it, if you've got an hour demo, right? You know, goodness me if you do, but if you've got an hour demo, that should at least be 5 or 6 discrete chunks. And within each one of those chunks, don't have more than 3 things that you're trying to show the customer. So it really helps you segment your customer. You can kind of think of it as like Netflix episodes as well, if you don't like the word chunk.
Right.
Okay? So that's tip number 2, is to chunk your demos into like manageable bites, as it were.
Right.
Having done that, tip number 3 is for each one of those chunks, do a little bit of technical engineering analysis on it, if you like, and count the number of screens that you're going to be showing your customer,
Right.
the number of clicks that you have to make to drive the demo, and actually time minutes, right? So you're going to end up with an MSC, minutes, screens, and clicks. And what you need to look for is, do any of those seem out of alignment, right? Are they out of whackers? We say in the homeland there.
Right.
So for example, if you've got a 10-minute chunk, but you're showing your customer 12 screens in that time, you're going to overwhelm them, right? It's going to be screen kung fu and things flying in and out.
Yeah.
Or are you going to have to do 20 or 25 clicks to drive a piece of functionality? So it's really about looking for minimalism and trying to minimize the number of minutes, the number of screens, the number of clicks that it takes you as the SE to drive through and show the customer what it is they actually want to see.
Right.
We as engineers, right, we love our product. We always want to show more of the product. And reps kind of fall into the same trap as well. Because they're also, oh, look, show them this and show them that. Okay? And so things expand and customers start to get lost. And once they get lost, they're gone.
So it's kind of a bit of fatigue at that point, right? And you want to kind of stick to the point and avoid that, right?
It is. I mean, we ran a survey on behalf of actually a couple of customers, and we found that over 70% of customers admitted that at some point in the demo, they were lost, dazed, or confused.
Right.
And had no idea what was going on. And the number, and that was virtual. Even in a physical face-to-face demo, when you're in the same room as them, that number was still over 50%.
Right.
And depending, how you're operating, the culture that you're in, sometimes people speak up and sometimes they just won't. So if you package those three things together, so have a visual map, chunk your demo up into meaningful pieces, no more than 12 minutes, then for each one of those chunks, those Netflix episodes, count the number of minutes, the number of screens, and the number of clicks, and just make sure they make sense. Okay? There's no hard and fast rule about the ratios, but it's one of those things where you know it when you see it.
Sure.
Okay?
Cool.
So that's three ways to design better demos. And what we've discovered is if you have a well-designed demo, then it's way easier to then execute on it and deliver it, right?
Right.
And literally, drop the mic, right? So make it meaningful, interesting, and compelling.
Yeah.
So that takes us into tip number 4. And tip number 4, if you're a devotee of mastering technical sales, you've probably heard me give this spiel already, but it's about being the fabulous sales engineer. Okay? And FAB stands for features, advantages, and benefits.
Right.
It's an old concept. It's not mine. It was invented by a fellow called Neil Rackham, like 35 years ago. Falling out of favor, coming back in, but here's how it works. So think about features. So we as sales engineers, right, folks like us, we love features. I mean, we live and die with features. We go to technical training. We learn all about features. And we think everybody else that we speak to is in love with features as well. And they are to some degree. But what's interesting is, well, so what? The example I always use is the good old coffee cup, right? So here we have the coffee cup. This is from my days of business objects many years ago. Still have it. And it's got a handle right here. So this, Richard, is coffee container 2.0. Right? Containers are big in the industry right now. So version 1.0 is the old polystyrene cup. I want to send you version 2.0.
Right.
2.0 has the handle. So that's a feature of this coffee cup. It's something that it's something that it has. Okay? So that's a feature. Now, what's the advantage of having this feature? Okay? So the question to ask then, what does it do for me?
Right.
What does it do for me? It allows me to hold my coffee so I don't spill it and I don't burn my fingers.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's pretty obvious, right?
So that's kind of the value you're saying, kind of, put what is the value for the customer, really? You kind of want to highlight that, right?
Yeah, it is. And we're only halfway there. Because you would think that not spilling your coffee and not burning your fingers is so obviously of value to the customer that almost everybody stops there, right? So that's the A, and that's the that's the A, that's the advantage. Right?
Yeah.
The next step is crucially important, and this is an area where sales reps usually excel and sales engineers not so good. And that's the benefit, right? It's the B, the FAB, and that is, what does it mean to the customer? Right? So what does it mean to me if I don't spill my coffee and I don't burn my fingers?
Your fingers,
I mean, what do you think, Richard? Right? What does it mean to me if I don't burn my fingers, I don't spill my coffee?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the advantage, right? That's you can avoid the pain, I guess.
Yeah, so I don't have
In
to
this
spend more
example.
money getting more
Yeah.
coffee, and I don't
Yeah.
have to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
I can keep coding and playing the piano
Yeah.
and tennis and whatever else,
Avoid
right?
some
So
pain.
it's feature advantage benefit. Yeah,
Yeah.
we would hope, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what we tell sales engineers: be fabulous. So
Right.
as you go through your demos, every time you've got a feature, think about the corresponding advantage, right? What does it do for the customer? And then carry it through to what does it mean? 95% of the time, the benefit relates to one of the magic three, right? So time, people, or money.
Yeah.
Right, when you're dealing in a business environment. If you've got a demo script, in a different color, write down the advantage and the benefits of all the features that you show.
Sure.
You could even translate this out of the demo environment to a PowerPoint or a Google slide pitch. Product marketing people love to have what I call the classic product marketing slide, right? We've all seen it. It's some picture that's kind of a little out of focus, you can't read, and 10 bullet points down the right-hand side. Each one of those are features. And as the customer, they look and they go, wow. So it's your job as the SE to translate into the A and the B. So I always tell people in the speaker notes, write the advantage and the benefit.
Right.
And once you've written it down just on that one time, then it's in your head and you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's tip number 4. Took a bit of time on that, but it's be fabulous. And that's crucially important because it does get to the value for the customer.
Sure.
And often we kind of lead the customer there, but we don't kind of bang them over the head with what the value is. And I'm a little old-fashioned there. I believe that we should.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. And number 5.
Tip number 5. So this one might be a little controversial, but hey, it's not a good podcast and there's no controversy.
Absolutely.
So question number 5 is a little more philosophical, and it's you need to ask yourself the question, or the sales team needs to ask themselves the question: do we really need to give this demo?
Fair point.
And we think, well, duh, John, of course we do. It's part of the sales cycle. And the answer is, well, yes, it is. Yeah. However, well over 70% of demos are given too early in the sales cycle.
Right.
And many organizations, and we're not talking like SMB style, but we're talking about corporate enterprise style demos. Many times a demo is given because the rep or the team has run out of ideas and they see it as a way to drive the sale forward.
Right. Right.
And every sales engineer out there has heard their rep say the magic phrase, "Oh, we'll show you that in the demo, right? We'll show you that in the demo." And by the time the poor old SE gets to the demo, right, they have like the sword of Damocles hanging over their head, and there's all these expectations on the demo.
Yeah.
So the demo is a useful tool. And yes, there are vision generation demos and everything else you can do super early in the sales cycle, and they're functional, they have a use. But what we call the good old classic capability demo, usually that's delivered a little earlier than it should be in the sales cycle. Right. And we actually have metrics and data show that the later on that you deliver the demo, without testing the patience of the customer, the more likely you are actually to win the deal.
Sure.
Whether it's a brand new logo account or you're just increasing consumption.
Cool.
So
excellent.
So that's the top 5. And then I have a bonus one if we've got time.
If very quickly.
Okay. So the bonus one is, if you're doing demos, look into demo automation software. There are a ton of companies out there. Consensus is the market leader in the space. There's also Reprise, DemoStack, Novatic, others. And they can automate the low end of the job for sales engineers to free you up for more value add interactions with your clients. So you definitely want to start looking at that demo automation software. It's been out there now for a couple of years, and man, it can save you a lot of time and increase productivity.
Cool. Excellent. So that's a really good one here, because that will certainly help with, as you said, doing the menial sort of boring stuff and just kind of setting you up for that. I've also learned something new. Screen kung fu. That's a good one. That's a cool word. I'm gonna use that phrase, John. Appreciate it.
Right.
I really wanted to thank you, because this is really always useful. As sales and pre-sales is always an area of interest for me. So really appreciate your top 5 on that, John. Very insightful as always. And thank you for coming. I'll certainly include all the links for John's website and his book, any sort of charts and things like that useful, all in the description of the video. And that's it. Hope you've found this video useful, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this talk, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.